Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Huk Central presented by Southern Wesleyan University. We're here for the back nine of round number one at the Freight course. Paul McBeth and company. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. Sometimes I have split personalities. Both of us will be here to give you the action. Big shout out to Sail On Enterprises. For any of your website needs, reach out to Sail On Enterprises. We're here on hole number 10, a par 3. A little bit of a blind shot up and over a slight incline that then plays back down to the hillside. 320 feet, so of course very reachable. It's just a matter of picking your point and hitting that exact point because you're not able to see the basket. And McBeth asking for it to get through it. And it does in the best possible fashion. You see that there's a little bit of a tailwind. That may have been what pushed McBeth's disc down. And I feel like this hole almost equally favors the righty versus the lefty, or should I say the forehander. In fact, I think that forehand route might be a little bit easier if you've got that kind of power. The high spike comes in right at circle's edge and then rolls right to the pin. Great shot there by Alex. Here's William Hannu. If it's Hannu, I apologize. Also, a solid shot. We'll see if these guys can turn things on a little bit. Of course, McBeth starting 6 for 9 in the front.
Go ahead, Will, if you want.
Not quite enough lift there for Ryan, and McBeth's going to make another birdie, so that's going to be 7 for 10 to get started here. Mentioned it earlier, 72 total holes on the weekend, 2 rounds here on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And if you're newer to disc golf, A-tiers used to run like this quite often. It was not crazy to see. And Alex is pacing it off for the CTP, otherwise known as closest to the pin. Ryan's thinking that Alex could be doing that after.
6 inches or so.
So that's that's just a little etiquette note for everyone in the future. It's awesome that you that you may win the CTP where you got to put your name on it. Do it after everyone else has cleared out, so you're not holding anything up. And I'm not picking on you, but yeah, do that after the fact. So here's hole 11, a par 4. You got to hit an initial gap, then it plays slightly downhill, and then there's even a bigger drop off directly behind the basket. Treacherous hole. You can find a lot of trouble on this hole. You see the wind blowing from left to right. McBeth, aggressive, and it goes into that right side and does not kick out like he had asked for. And that's a great shot. That's exactly, you're running the risk of finding, of course, trouble off to the left and right if you throw it too hard, just like we saw from McBeth. So if you can lay up to the mouth and then plan on just going straight up the gut from there, that's a great game plan. And looked like William was trying to lay it up. That's going to push to the right side. If he threw an identical forehand to what he just threw there, he would likely be right near the pin. So we'll see what he can do on his approach. And that looks like pretty good placement there. by Ryan.
Got it over the top, got it.
Oh, and finds the top canopy. Will has a 986 rating coming into this event. He's out of Taylor's, South Carolina. And he's got one C-tier pro victory under his belt in terms of professional wins. That came in 2020. I'm not sure if he was waving at it or telling it to keep going. I think he was telling it to keep going. Ryan Kenney comes in with a 995 rating out of Concord, North Carolina. And he's got 11 pro wins. All of them were at PDGA C tiers. So McBeth not in good position here. And that's about the best possible shot he could have thrown from where he was. Looks like he's about 45, maybe 50 feet, slightly downhill to the pin, still with a birdie opportunity, which is impressive from where he was. And hitting near the pin and then rolling after Dylan there. And full commitment out of Alex. Puts him right next to the pin. So, of course, a popular place, any disc that comes in short, if it just kind of skips on the ground, will find itself probably at or near this ditch line. McBeth liked his line. He didn't think he was going to miss long, he said. And that is a solid putt. Picking up the birdie. Again, any putt that misses the basket that's coming in hot like that has a chance to have a significant rollaway. I swear I haven't cheated. I'm going to look at the PDGA stats right now. I have to assume this is coming in as one of the more difficult holes on the course. I ask myself that all the time. Why are you so soft? And it's because I don't think I eat healthy. That's why I'm soft. Yeah, hole 11, second most difficult hole on the course here during round number 1, averaging 0.2 above par, and about 8 or 9 total birdies only were given up in the MPO field. We saw one of them from here on the card. So McBeth is going to give one back to the course. He's still 6 under. Big shout out to Southern Wesleyan University. So we've got a little bit easier task here. 235 uphill. Probably plays closer to 260, maybe even 265 or 270. But definitely uphill. If you're a righty backhander, you want to throw it straight and just let it finish. I feel like you could throw a stable to overstable mid. If you got that power, you could throw a fairway driver. I mean, anything with just a little bit of hyzer to it. Yep, that works.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, and that was a little bit of a lucky inside line. I think McBeth knows he got away with one there. And we got 4 guys up on the dance floor. Top, bottom, and out. I'll spoil it this much for you. This is the second easiest. So they went from the second toughest to the second easiest hole on the course. There it is. Solid putt by Ryan. Big shout out to our tournament director, Brian Shop, along with assistant director Todd Lyon. Todd had reached out and looking for video coverage potentially for this event, so super glad Disc Golf Guy channel could be there. Dustin and Dylan are out on the cameras. And we even got a little bonus coverage. A couple extra rounds than we were even planning on. And hopefully you guys are going to be in for the long haul. Tons of golf coming to you from the Huk Central. And big shout out to Ish over at Down South Disc Golf. Doing a ton of stuff in the area as well, running events, offering merchandise. All right, hole 13 plays left to right. I feel like it almost, if you pulled a Missy Elliott and you put it down, flipped it, and reversed it, I don't know. So this is, unlike the last hole, which played up and to the left, this plays down and to the right. Very gettable at 260. And not quite as pronounced as a turn that you found way back on hole number 3, but McBeth says he puts too much on it. Oh, and it gets a kiss off the tree. I was going to say that looked like a good angle. Needed a little bit more power. Thankfully, it carried on. And this is the danger on a hole like this. I feel like anytime you're up above the basket, it's a gentle decline to go away from the pin. But if it catches edge, or catches potentially the basket and almost the cameraman, Dylan, looks like he got out of the way. You just see that it somewhat slopes down. So when you're putting straight down at the pin, it's easy to get to that 30, 35, 40-foot range. And next thing you know, you're working harder than you wanted to on the comeback. McBeth here goes almost to 30 feet. Grabs his lucky mini. I think Hannah actually 3D printed that mini for him. There's an adorable story there somewhere. Wow, solid putt. So I'm going to have to go with a little bit of a straddle there. Also, a little more work than he signed up for on hole 13. It averages under par. I'm surprised to see it. It's only the we'll say 12th most easy hole or so. I figured we see a lot more birdies on it than we did, and a little work there for Ryan. Alex taking it all in, soaking in the birdie feels before he goes up and takes them. All right, hole number 14, 180 feet straight down the tunnel. You have to land on the island. Anywhere that doesn't land on the island goes to the drop zone directly short of the island and then has a penalty stroke added. So you just need to get it on the island. Oh, and a little bit short, but a great shot there by Alex. Will is going to wait till things are all clear. Again, you must land on the island. If you hit on the island and it skips or rolls off, it's still out of bounds. You must come to rest on the island. That's exactly, unfortunately, what I meant. McBeth. It's going to go with a jump putt. It's low and somehow skips up and over the left side of that big rock. All right, I guess, if that's what he needs. And the standstill that he pulls over, catches the late tree. I don't think that was going to make it on anyway. And it looks like we got two guys going to the drop zone. And this is a very makeable putt. This is an opportunity to save the par. And Will's effort doesn't connect. Let's see if Ryan can still walk away with the par. And maybe no surprise as I look at the statistics here. There's a ton of birdies and a ton of bogeys and very few people with pars, understandably, because if you're making it on this island, the chances are good you're going to make the putt. But if you miss the island, yeah, you needed the magic of making the drop zone putt. So 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. The hole still averaged 2.61 overall. All right, now we're looking at hole 15, 285 feet. A little bit of a congestion off the tee. And then this is going up the left side route. I think you're more inclined to see the righty, wider hyzer. And that looks perfect. Yeah, there is out of bounds. That's deep of the pin on this hole. If he carried another 15 feet or so, I feel like he might have found the out of bounds, but that's pretty much exactly what you want to do here. And McBeth cuts it short. You have a long look from there. But you're really just trying to hit that exact gap. I wish I had a better way to describe it, but that's exactly what you're trying to do. I think you can go low, maybe play a high-speed driver with a skip. You could go with a fairway You could go with a mid. And that also came in a little bit early. From about the same distance as the previous hole length was. On 14, McBeth goes just deep of the pin. So that'll be the question I'd love for you guys to answer. I've got some giveaways coming all week, every video that you'll see from the Huk Central event. My question is, hole 14, what are you throwing there? What's your way to attack that hole as Alex picks up the birdie? You going with a standstill, backhand, forehand, you jump putting? What are you doing? Put that in the comments. That will make you eligible to win. Well, you have to do all the other YouTube stuff as well. Like, share, subscribe, you know, all that stuff. And that's an easy one that McBeth knows he let slip past him. Plenty of birdies racked up on hole number 15. Big shout out to Pastry Dyes, the guy on the catch cam. That's Dylan, and he's not on the catch cam. He's probably out dyeing some discs. Check it out at pastrydyes.com. Shortest, well, second shortest hole. We just saw the shortest one in 14. This is the second shortest. Out of bounds on that left side. If you carry over the water, your OB, you must navigate to that left side of the tree. Otherwise, you'd be missing the Mando. That's what you're seeing that big line for. I don't know that a lot of people would take that route necessarily anyway, but they're just trying to force you to throw up the middle. A perfect shot there by Will. McBeth's putter, a little bit short. And Ryan's right there on the dance floor. This does come in as the fourth easiest hole on the course. So kind of one of those must-get birdies. McBeth's in jeopardy of a par. What is a solid putt? I don't know. So McBeth goes to 9 under. If your name isn't Chris Dickerson or Michael Johansen, it seems like it's pretty difficult to win this event. Those guys have both performed very well at this tournament. Chris Dickerson's on another card, which I went out and got with a single camera during round 1, so that'll be one of the next videos you see. Dickerson has had 3 wins here in the last few years, and Johansen's had 1 win and 3 seconds. So everyone's battling Johansen and Dickerson. As we move over to hole 17, big shout out to Double G's Jerky. I sometimes have been mailing that out. People seem to be enjoying it. I know I love it. It's got the new cracked pepper flavor. I got to admit, I haven't tried it yet, but I think I'm going to love it. I'm guessing it'll go right behind the boom sauce in my list of favorites. Oh, that comes in just a bit short. This is just another one of those kind of must-get birdies. And that will work for McBeth. Oh, a little bit of plinko, but it stays up. That is a significant incline. See the gentleman in the orange shirt straight ahead. From there up to the pin is actually a pretty significant incline. So coming in with the right angle and then getting it to stay there is a lot tougher than it seems like it would be. Especially with how hard that ground is. Solid putt. Got an excitable crowd out here for the weekend. I think they had to put in a little extra work. There's just really no good place for them to park. So anyone that came in, I think, had to get creative. So we got 2 for 2 birdies, a couple opportunities left. These guys trying to make hole 17 look just as easy as it really is. Well, that's if you're a righty and you like throwing backhands. That was my fault. I jinxed him. I take the blame for that. And in the meantime, McBeth picks up another birdie. He goes to 10 under. And we are moving on to our 18th and final hole. Thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. Bonus coverage. So many rounds would not get covered if we didn't have the support of Patreon. So this hole plays from left to right to try and put yourself in position to then play out into the opening here. I've seen a lot of crazy shots and experienced a lot of things that I've heard about, I should say. But you're really just trying to make this initial bend and then set yourself up for a second shot. Might be pinched to the right side. We'll see. You can't turn it over too much. But if you don't turn it over enough, you don't make the corner. Oh. And I'll tell you, it was way better for that to kick to the, ultimately, to the right, as we're looking at the fairway here, to kick to the right versus had it kick left. And that's exactly what Ryan's thinking right now is, where was my kick to the right? Oh, the roller. What? What? That is incredible. You see the next card up above. I don't know how you would get any closer to the pin with any other shot than what we just saw. As Ryan's just trying to pitch back out to the fairway. And now this is where he would have been okay with landing initially, but this is actually his third shot. Let's see if he can make some magic happen. And you see just how much the wind is picked up out in the open there. Again, big shout out, Town of Central, MetroCon, Elkmont, Down South Dis, and of course our presenting sponsor in Southern Wesleyan University. McBeth trying to finish strong here. I think he's had 2 bogeys already. Sits at that 10 under. And even with the wind, it looks like a guaranteed birdie. Oh. he wouldn't have been necessarily next to the pin had he not hit that tree, but it might have put him in a little bit better position for a long look at the putt. He still has a long look, but maybe a much more realistic or makeable look. And Ryan doing the best he can to close that one out. So, guys, I've got single camera coverage of Chris Dickerson's card, also during round 1. In round 2, we've got MPO lead card coverage. We've got MP40 lead card coverage. We've got just a ton of stuff for you guys to watch. And McBeth, solid 11 under to get started. I'm going to close things out. Make sure you tell me what you would be doing on hole 14. And make sure you tune in to the other first round action that I had with Chris Dickerson and his group. That's where I break down what we actually see. Then I'll give you the overall scores. I'm not putting them up on this one yet. I want you to go watch Chris Dickerson's opening round, and then I'll give you guys a leaderboard at the end of that. Thank you to Dustin and Dylan and Todd and Brian and Ish. We'll see you guys with the other feature card from round number 1.